Welcome to the Secret History Channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. Marilyn Monroe is photographed at New York's Grand Central Station on New Year's Eve 1955, captured in a relaxed yet elegant moment that reflects her glamour and popularity at the time. Canadian soldiers play hockey on an ice rink built on the Imjin River in North Gyeonggi Province, South Korea in 1952. A smiling girl wearing a traditional kimono celebrates New Year's Day in Japan in 1914, dressed in period attire adorned with elegant patterns and vibrant colors. Carrie Fisher is photographed in London in 1980. Casually posing with stormtroopers during promotion for The Empire Strikes Back. The actress, famous for Princess Leia, smiles as she interacts with the iconic Star Wars characters. In 1912, Louis and Lola became known as the Titanic Orphans after surviving in a lifeboat without their parents. 1 month later, their mother arrived from France and was reunited with them. Salvador Dalí strolls with his unusual pets, a giant anteater and a sloth in 1969, captured in a relaxed moment that underlines his eccentric style and fascination with the extraordinary. People sunbathe in an open area in France in 1945. The black and white image shows men and women lying on towels in period swimwear, enjoying the weather and a moment of rest. Balham Underground Station in London is photographed after a German air raid in 1940 during World War II, showing extensive structural damage with debris scattered and parts of the building destroyed. Grace Kelly is photographed in 1955, preparing to eat a popsicle, captured in a relaxed, joyful moment wearing a thin strapped blouse. Frida Kahlo is photographed in 1924 wearing a tailored suit in a family portrait, striking a confident pose and challenging the period's traditional gender norms. Sophia Loren is photographed kissing her younger sister, Maria Ciccolone, in 1955, capturing a tender moment that highlights family bonds and closeness. The English actress Lynn Frederick is photographed in the 1970s, having risen to prominence in film and television during that era. On October 29, 1929, known as Black Tuesday, Wall Street experienced a dramatic crash. The photograph captures the turmoil and despair of investors and brokers as stock prices plummeted, signaling the start of the Great Depression. A crowd gathers in New York in April 1912, awaiting news of Titanic survivors. People of all ages and social classes anxiously gather in streets and squares, seeking information about loved ones. Bruce Lee poses next to his written training regimen on a board at the Hak Kung Gymnasium in the mid-1960s, highlighting his muscular, defined physique, a testament to his intense exercise routine. Anne Frank is photographed in 1935 outside her father's company Opekta on Singel Street in Amsterdam, smiling in period dress near the building's entrance. Sophia Loren is photographed on July 26, 1962 at Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood, looking elegant and smiling at one of the most iconic venues for American film premieres and ceremonies. The bathysphere, the world's first deep-sea exploration vessel, is photographed in the 1930s with American naturalist William Beebe inside. It allowed scientific observation at great ocean depths. Sigourney Weaver is photographed in 1978, testing a flamethrower on the set of Alien, holding the device with focus as she prepares for an action scene in the film. Arnold Schwarzenegger is photographed in 1988 on the set of Red Heat holding a cigar and a beer, caught in a relaxed backstage moment wearing casual clothes and a laid-back expression. The Grand Gallery of the Louvre is photographed empty in 1939 after artworks were evacuated in preparation for World War II. The broad, light-filled hall stands bare, its walls and ceiling visible without their usual adornments. A young woman enjoys a day at the beach in France around 1920, sitting on the sand in the era's bathing attire that blended comfort with modesty. Bill Lundy, Florida's last Civil War veteran, poses beside a jet fighter in 1955, symbolizing the bridge between generations and technological advances across American history. Spectators watch a Chicago Cubs baseball game outside Wrigley Field in 1932, gathered near the ballpark and displaying enthusiasm for the sport. Built in 1973, the Terex 3319 Titan measures 67 feet long and was the largest rock-hauling truck ever built for 25 years. Two boys are photographed being arrested for theft in early 20th century New York, escorted by police as authorities work to curb petty crime on city streets. Grace Kelly is photographed in the 1950s inside what appears to be an American Airlines airplane cabin, holding a magazine or book, smiling in a classic dress of the era with meticulously styled hair. The Concorde supersonic jet is photographed landing in St. Martin in 1981, gracefully approaching the runway in a precise maneuver that highlights its speed and innovative design. A Soviet soldier and his comrade posed during the 1980s amid the military intervention in Afghanistan, both wearing standard uniforms equipped for operations in rugged mountainous terrain. Carrie Fisher and her mother, Debbie Reynolds, are photographed together in 1972, smiling side by side and highlighting the family bond between the rising actress and the renowned singer-actress. 10-year-old Barack Obama is photographed beside his father, also named Barack Obama, who left the family to study at Harvard when his son was 2 years old and returned only once thereafter. A couple performs a vintage swing dance, likely from the 1930s or 1940s, with the woman leaned back in a daring move as the man holds her securely, both radiating energy and joy. President John F. Kennedy stands beside NASA Director Dr. Wernher von Braun at Cape Canaveral, Florida on November 16, 1963, capturing a pivotal moment in the United States space race. A gentleman drives a zebra-drawn carriage through the streets of London in 1913. The open carriage shows him at the reins with the zebras under his control. A crowd in Paris, France, photographs in April 1912 watching a solar eclipse. People of all ages in period attire gather outdoors, gazing skyward. The children of Tsar Nicholas II of Russia are formally photographed in 1906, dressed in elegant attire and posed in a classical setting that reflects imperial tradition and protocol. Charles Joseph Bonaparte, nephew of Napoleon Bonaparte, is credited with founding the Bureau of Investigation in 1903, the precursor to the United States Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI. Workers trimmed the world's largest yew hedge at Bathurst Estate in the Cotswolds, England, in 1962. The living fence was first planted in 1720 by the first Earl of Bathurst. French weightlifter and 1920 Olympic champion Ernest Cadine is photographed in 1923 flexing to display his muscular physique. One of the first female pilots trained by the Swedish Air Force is photographed in the early 1980s in her military uniform, symbolizing women's entry into a traditionally male-dominated field. Roald Amundsen feeds his pet polar bear named Marie around 1920, captured in an informal moment that illustrates the unusual bond between man and nature in Arctic settings. A transport plane flies low over the Egyptian pyramids in 1943, highlighting the contrast between modern technology and ancient monuments. The United States Pacific Fleet is photographed positioning for battle during the Marshall Islands campaign in 1944, with warships arrayed strategically at sea, ready for operations in the region. An Arizona migrant family is photographed in 1940 in front of a simple makeshift dwelling. The mother holds a baby prominently, while other children stand by the doorway or sit on the ground. The first wave of United States Marine landing craft advances toward the beaches of Iwo Jima at 8:59 a.m. on February 19, 1945. Footballer Alfredo Di Stefano is photographed smoking a cigarette on Real Madrid's bench in 1964, relaxing during a match while wearing the team's uniform. Two East German workers place shards of broken glass atop a wall about 14 feet 9 inches tall to deter people from escaping East Berlin to the west. Redford, Michigan. Police divers are photographed in 1960 preparing for an underwater operation, wearing period dive gear including masks, fins, and weight belts beside a pool or training area. The Spruce Goose, the largest seaplane ever built, was designed and constructed by the Hughes Aircraft Company. It completed its only flight on November 2, 1947, in Long Beach, California. The Hughes H-4, known as the Spruce Goose, was built by billionaire Howard Hughes in 1947. It was the largest aircraft in the world at the time and completed only one flight. Samuel L. Jackson and his wife LaTanya are photographed together in 1980, shortly after their wedding, smiling as a couple at the start of a long journey together. An ostrich-drawn carriage is stopped by police in Los Angeles around 1930 for speeding. The unusual vehicle sits on the street as officers speak with the driver. The composition room at the New York Times is photographed in 1942, showing workers using manual and mechanical equipment to arrange text and images for the sports pages. Grapes are harvested at the Shakrinau State Vineyard Farm in 1962 in the Tajik Soviet Socialist Republic. Harvey Ross Ball is photographed in the 1960s presenting his most famous creation, the smiley face, the yellow smiling icon that became a global symbol. Photographer Bunny Yeager captures Betty Page in 1954 during the Cheetah Session, showing Betty posing in wild-themed outfits and accessories that highlight her bold, sensual style. A group of samurai clad in full traditional Japanese armor, including helmets, metal breastplates, spears, and swords, is photographed in 1900. Cashiers stand ready at register stations for the grand opening day of the Piggly Wiggly supermarket in Encino, California, in 1962, wearing uniforms and smiles as they await customers. Ozzy Osbourne and his wife Sharon are photographed together in 1985, seated on a couch with affectionate expressions and casual attire, reflecting an intimate, peaceful moment in their personal life. A Japanese mother is photographed in 1866 with her young son, both wearing traditional period clothing that reflects 19th century Japanese style and customs. The General Motors Tech Center is photographed in the 1950s. showing the research and development complex where engineers, designers, and technicians collaborated on automotive innovations. Artist Zoe Mozart is photographed painting the poster for The Outlaw, featuring actress Jane Russell. Mozart is focused on her glamorous depiction of the film star. People sunbathe in a makeshift beach area in New York before Battery Park City was built, enjoying the riverside space in a casual, open-air setting. Legendary Georgian Soviet water polo player Petrim Shveniradze is photographed with his grandson in 1990, capturing a relaxed family moment that underscores generational continuity. A woman takes a break for tea or coffee during her workout in a 1940s gym, resting against a weight bar loaded with about 126 pounds. A 1930s Coca-Cola soda fountain car is photographed in an urban setting. The vehicle was adapted into a mobile unit selling soft drinks directly to consumers in various locations. A young man wears headphones in a San Francisco arcade in 1982, focused on playing a video game machine amid the venue's characteristic lighting and lively atmosphere. The musical group Boney M poses in Red Square, Moscow during a tour in December 1978, with historic monuments providing an iconic Soviet capital backdrop. Young polio survivor David Hensley, wearing leg braces, is photographed in 1948, taking part in a public fundraising campaign for the construction of a new hospital. A painter works on the Eiffel Tower in 1953, perched high above the ground as he applies paint to the monument's metal framework during maintenance and restoration. Oxford bags are photographed as an ultra-wide leg pant style, popularized in the 1920s. The loose, voluminous cut offered both comfort and a distinctive look for the era. William, the son of German leader Alois's half-brother, is photographed taking the oath to join the United States Navy. The formal moment at the recruitment station shows him raising his right hand as he pledges before a military officer. World chess champion Anatoly Karpov, on the right, is photographed in 1978 during a demonstration match, deeply focused as he studies the board and showcases his signature skill and composure. Lady Diana impersonators await Prince Charles in Wellington, New Zealand in 1981, dressed and coiffed like the princess to show excitement and anticipation for the royal visit. Michelle Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas is photographed in 1966, showcasing her signature 1960s style with long hair and fashion reflective of the era. Swedish bank robber Clark Olofsson is photographed barricading himself in a vault with hostages during the event that coined the term Stockholm Syndrome on August 26, 1973, at Norrmalmstorg in Stockholm. Women shop for perfume and jewelry at the Ilum department store in Copenhagen, Denmark in 1904. The image shows elegantly dressed customers browsing items displayed in glass cases and on counters. A couple poses before their high school prom in the 1960s. The young man wears a white suit with a bow tie, while the young woman wears a short, full-skirted formal dress typical of the era. Daytona Beach, Florida is photographed in 1957 in a vibrant, bustling scene. 1950s cars drive and park on the sand while people walk, swim, and enjoy the sunny day. Two Red Cross nurses are photographed playing football during a break in 1939, captured in a relaxed moment wearing uniforms and enjoying outdoor sport. Spectators at the Holland Pop Festival, held in Kralingserbos, Rotterdam, Netherlands, on June 26, 1970, are photographed in an outdoor crowd enjoying the music event in a relaxed, natural setting. Judith Love Cohen worked on the Atlas Able satellite in 1959 and played a key role in creating the system that rescued the Apollo 13 astronauts, significantly contributing to space technology development during NASA's major mission era. A surgery is underway in the operating theater of Boston City Hospital around 1890. Showing doctors and nurses focused on the procedure using period equipment and techniques. New recruits of the 7th Regiment. The Queen's Own Hussars are photographed in 1935 practicing balance on wooden horses. The soldiers wear training uniforms and use the simulated mounts to develop essential cavalry skills. Vivien Leigh is photographed in September 1938, promoting the play Serena Blandish in London, posing elegantly in a costume that reflects her character's style in the production. The Beatles are photographed in 1957 performing as singers at a wedding. George is 14, John 16, and Paul 15, still at the start of their musical careers. And want to support the channel, please use the Super Thanks tool below. Your contribution helps us keep bringing you amazing historical content. Thank you so much for your support, and see you in the next video.